Hey y'all, what's up? It's Leaves and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about 10 Hoyas that just have not been growing for me. All right, y'all, before I get into it, a quick apology. I said that I would be back on Sunday and I'm recording this on Tuesday and it's not going to get to y'all. Probably could get to y'all tonight, depending on the vibe, but it also probably won't. So I apologize, but I'm trying to do better and I'm trying to be better. And February, we're going to be back to the regular scheduled program, fingers crossed. I know when I posted the poll and was like, hey, y'all, what y'all trying to see next? Blah, blah. I said I had 11 Hoyas that are not growing, that I would like to grow better. Turns out I decided to make the executive decision to get rid of my heuschkeliana, which was one of the plants that hasn't been growing well for me at all. I just looked around. I said, okay, just let it go. The plant wasn't even looking good. It was looking bleached. It was getting like a sunstrike. It wasn't doing for me. So I let her go. And I said, I have enough big leaf Hoyas that can fill that same, scratch that same itch. I have a sarawak. Everything's going to be fine. We're moving on from the lois. I've had too many bad times with that plant. So I just say, you know what, maybe it's not meant for you and you'll circle back to that in a future time. Maybe, probably not. Anywho, with all that being said, let's just go ahead and jump into those 10 Hoyas that just haven't really been growing well for me. Okay, so I have a list because duh. And the first one that I have on this list is actually my lada iskandar. Y'all, here's the plant. Okay, just 2 leaves and some twigs. And I keep saying that I'm gonna cut it. Oh my God, wait, shut up. Let me not even hold my hopes. Let me not even be too hopeful. But if you look down here, wait, oh my God, I'm gonna have to move this. If y'all see that little red line, that's actually a new leaf. I've had this happen many times though, so I don't even know why I'm sitting here holding my breath. And essentially what happens is it tries to do it and then the leaf falls off. But anywho, that said, this is at the top of my list of Hoyas that I want to improve the growing on because I've had this plant since June of 2025. I have not grown not one leaf. I have had to restart the plant. So I guess I could give it like that I had to restart it. But girl, I've restarted multiple plants and they're definitely growing. For example, my calistophylla, I started it over with 3 leaves. It has definitely doubled its size since then. Now, is it a huge bushy endlet? No, but it has grown, right? And it continues to do so. So what I did was I decided to do some research. I got on the little computer, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I learned many things. One being, and I have notes, not me looking down at I really took the notes, child. But I learned that one, they're originally from Perak in Malaysia. So shout out to Perak. That makes sense because they be calling it the teddy bear Perak. I get it now. But anywho, it's I guess used to like warmer temperatures and like high humidity based off of the area that it's from. Now I know that there are a lot of Hoyas that are technically used to high humidity that can be acclimated down. This just might not be one of those, right? This might be one that I need to increase the humidity on. So I'm saying that, and I have an akrabar in that I'm literally preparing to empty out. And I think I want to put this into an akrabar that is going to have a barina on top of it so that it gets like a good amount of light. I'm thinking about potentially, like it might be a little wild, but I'm thinking about potentially doing, I'll start with 1 barina bar and see how that goes, and potentially having 2 just so that the light is bright. I don't know if that might be too much or not, but I think it being in an akrabar, having it sealed off significantly so that it's very humid, and likely having the akrabar have like a layer of like a tray on the bottom that I insert with like leca and water, so that it maintains moisture and I can keep that akrabar at around like 80% humidity, which sometimes I'm able to keep my cabinets at that, but I open my cabinets a lot. So there's that. But if I am able to keep the akrabar at that humidity, I would likely only open that when I need to water those plants. And with such high humidity, I wouldn't see that being once a week. It would probably be a little bit less. And I think that environment might help it, because what I've noticed is it's like the leaves have just dried off from where like they crisp up essentially. And I feel like that has to be a humidity issue, because it's not like the growth point just never turns into anything, like it starts and then disappears, but it's like it wants to be something and then it's not. When I put it in there, I want to also treat the plant for flat mites. I don't think it has flat mites, but I don't know, and I won't get one of those microscopes. So I want to put it into, once I get this and like a couple others that I have planned to put inside of that same acarbar in there, they will go through rounds of like being sprayed with garden fungicide that has 0.04% sulfur in it. And I'll just be doing that for like the first couple months that they're in there. And I know that that means I'm doing two things at once, but even if it turns out that it was just the sulfur, then fine. But if it turns out that it wasn't, and it still doesn't grow with all of those conditions, I don't know. Look, I'm just telling y'all what I'm gonna do. But I hope that putting all of that effort in for this here plant brings me something. I know I previously said I would cut these off. I know, but I don't know why I'm struggling to let go. You know what it really is that I never have the shears, and I don't know where I put my shears. I recently have not been able to even find them, so there's also that. But once I find them shears, oh yes, I'm probably gonna chop off these little branches that have nothing going on, and I'll keep you posted on whether or not this leaf shrivels away, y'all. Okay, so the next plant that I have up on the list, on the roster, this is my Hoya sarawak. I also got this plant in June of 2025. So I have not gotten any new leaves on it. But when I got this plant, it had like a longer vine with like some leaves at the top that had this thing that kind of looks similar to what like flat mite damage can cause or like create, where you get like the cauliflower node where it's just like multiple nodes that tried to start and they just never turn into anything. But then they told me that it wasn't that. However, just to be cautious, I ended up chopping it off after treating the plant for months for flat mites and still getting no growth. I have recently gotten this vine to come out. Now, this vine has been out here for quite some time, if I'm honest with you. My thing is, do I have to trellis it for it to put out a new leaf? I think I might put a stake, like put it on a stake or something like that. Anyway, did my research on this one too. This one is also from Malaysia, but instead of being from Perak, it's from Borneo. I think that something that I could probably be doing wrong with this, based on what I looked at, is the lighting. I think that these can take a lot higher light than I am giving it. And I think I haven't even been putting it in a place where it's getting like the same amount of light as the majority of my Hoyas. It's probably been getting pretty low light. So I'm feeling like that must be the cause of it. I also want to say that I want to increase humidity and potentially warmth. I don't think that I could have this plant inside of an acarbar. I also wouldn't put it inside of any of my cabinets right now. But for now, I'm thinking that it just needs to be higher up than where it is right now. I'm considering putting it on one of the top shelves of my Vitellina tall cabinet. But at the same time, I'm wondering to myself, do I need to put it on the top shelf of the Vitellina, or I don't even know. I just know that it needs brighter light. So I'm thinking about moving it because I think it needs more light in order to grow. And also, if I want to put a stake on it, it can't be where it's currently at because it's on a shelf. So it's literally on the shelf that's right by, like, girl. So the humidifier is there. It's on the shelf right above it. So yeah, that's kind of something that I'm thinking about. I also feel like I probably need to flush this plant more regularly. I don't consider fertilizer often when it comes to most of my plants. Honestly, I don't really like flush. I kind of just like, if I'm lazy, then I might water them through without putting the fertilizer in it because I'm lazy. I'm kind of thinking to myself like, all right, maybe I'm also hindering it because of it not being flushed. I also know that this might be like slightly root bound. I'm not like, you can see roots at the top of the pot, but that doesn't always mean anything. So anywho, game plan for this one: let me make sure I clean these leaves more often. 2, I'm gonna put it higher up because obviously the higher up something is, the more warmer it's gonna be. Like my plants on like the lower shelves are gonna be in cooler temperatures. Even if your room is at 60 degrees, if you have hygrometers and you move them to different locations, you're going to get different degrees. So for example, the hygrometer that's sitting next to my, what is this? My begonia, the Rockstar Lifestyle one, it is reading at 72 degrees Fahrenheit. But the one sitting right next to my Forgetii hybrid is reading at 69 degrees Fahrenheit. So like that few degrees could mean something. And they're not even at much of a height difference. But this, I could put it at the highest elevation in here, and hopefully that would allow it to do better. Okay, the next one I have on my list is my Hoya deykeae. Yo, I just want this plant to grow. So here we are. This plant has not grown for me. It was putting out a leaf and then the leaf died off. We really hate that for me. We really, really do. I have no answers. It's also not heavily rooted. It's rooted, but not heavily. It's recently watered, which is why it looks so dark. So when I looked up this plant, before I even get into that, I got this plant in October, obviously in a trade. This plant is from Indonesia. Okay, different locations. We love that, different localities. Now, hear me out. I saw on, I think it was Dave, on Doug Chamberlain's website, Vermont Hoyas, I saw that it's susceptible to root rot and overwatering. So I'm thinking I need to allow this plant to go dry, like not bone crispy, like it's the driest thing ever, but I think I do need to allow it to have a bit more of a dry cycle in between waterings, because some of my Hoyas, like they might be like a little moist at the bottom and I'm just like, just water it, you know. Because I actually, again, I've said this a million times, but I don't believe that they need to be going bone dry because they're from rainforests. Why would we be? That's not the point. So I just think I need to let it get a little bit more dry and a little bit more light before I fully water it. And then something else that I'm thinking about with this one is also that it really might need that warmer spot. So alongside the sarawak, I think I might put this one higher up. I also considered just putting it into, I considered putting it into the akar with the lada iskandar. However, hear me out. I'm worried about root rot with this one. I am, because I will say that this one also will be one that I come back to and it's still wet, like after, like it doesn't get watered every single time. So I am a little concerned when it comes to it rotting. And I wonder if I put it inside of the cabinet and it's very moist, I don't know if I've gotten on top of the watering outside of the cabinet. You know what I'm trying to say? So I don't know if I want to put it in the akar, but I will put it probably next to the sarawak, somewhere higher up with warmer temperatures for certain. All right. The next one that I have on my list is my Hoya Sulawesi GPS 8867. Now, again, this one also has a, what is this called? A vine. My thing is I have grown one leaf with this plant, but it is so incredible. Is this supposed to be like really, really slow growing? Like I'm just, when I tell you I'm unaware, I mean, I'm unaware. So I've been getting like a lot of mixed information when I looked into this plant. I've had this plant similarly to the first two since June of 2025, and I got it from Plant Haven. I also restarted it. It rooted really well, right? And it did a fantastic job at rooting. I gave it this pot. It's been doing all right. I am wondering if I am probably overwatering this plant and that's causing it to have some issues. Additionally, you can see that the plant is sun stressing, because I think I mentioned like the lighting. So I know that the light it's getting is very bright. So it's sun stressing and even like in some areas kind of sunburning a little bit. So I'm wondering if the light is too bright for it, because I actually did get this leaf when it was on a shelf that only had one Barina bar. So I'm wondering if I need to move it, because I still have to do like a lot of rearranging in preparation for so many other anthurium coming out of my cabinet, because one of my cabinets is growing so much. But that said, I think that I might, in fact, put this into my office, because I still have those smaller Hoya shelves that I used to have. I just placed them in the office. And I think that this might need to go under one T5 Barina bar that's like a foot away versus having like the two T10s that are blaring down on it. I don't think that is necessarily, I think that might be too much light. Like, not that it can't take it, but if it's sun stressing, I wonder if that's slowing down the growth. And honestly, I would prefer it to grow versus be sun stressed at this current juncture. I would like to have a few more leaves. I adore this leaf that I grew so much. Just give me a couple more, please. I beg. The game plan I have is one, to stop watering it too often. So similar to the deykeae, I think I need to just be better about allowing it to have a better dry cycle. And then yeah, I think that's it, honestly, is letting it dry out a little bit more and then also giving it a little bit less light. All right, so we're halfway through. So next I have my Hoya sussuela, which I also got in October in that same trade. Now, this plant, this plant, I don't know, it confuses me. The other vine that was in it died off. I had to take it out. I am really invested. I actually really initially was thinking about getting rid of this plant. And by initially, I don't mean when I was planning this video, but I mean when I went through and I was looking at the lois, I thought about getting rid of this one as well. Then I looked up the blooms. Whoa. Hey, here's the bloom. Here's the bloom right here. I need to see that in person. So I'm very invested. She's not going anywhere, at least until she blooms, right? I don't know if the mix might be too dense. Like, I'm wondering if that's the case. So it has rooted, maybe not like it hasn't given me like the best rooting, right? Let me show you. I don't even know if I've been showing y'all all these plants, but here's my sussuela. Even get y'all up on it one more time because I really don't remember showing y'all. The texture is cool. It's got like little hairs on it. It's very, very cute. However, it's just not really quick growing. It's pretty slow growing for the kind of plant it is. And like the size of the leaves have gotten smaller. So I'm wondering if I need to put it on a trellis. Again, it's so little that I'm like, what am I trellising? And then two, I'm wondering if it also needs warmth, because from what I looked at, this also seems like one that like needs a little bit of a warmer situation. So I'm wondering if I should put this into like I don't know if I really want to transition it out from this, because this mix is not really all that not chunky. The top looks way chunkier than the sides because the cocoa coir sifted down. But I'm thinking I might put this into the acar bar as well with the lada iskandar, because I think that bright light might help this one, because everything that I saw, the only consistent thing was that it needs high light, and then something I was seeing that was like questionable was about the warmth. So I think that an acar bar with like light shining down on it. Okay, my acar bar that's on the floor, literally on the ground, is at 70 degrees right now. There are no plants in it, etc. So I'm wondering if I put it in an acar bar, and then I don't know, where could I put the acar bar that's elevated? I have no clue. But if I put it in an acar bar, I am hopeful that I can probably increase the outcomes for this. I feel like maybe it's like one of those plants that does better in conditions that mimic the conditions it comes from. So that's going to be the plan with this one, is I might put this into the acar bar with the lada iskandar as well. And I'll probably do a video of me like updating and doing all the good stuff to the acar bar, because I also want it to look pretty. I don't want it to just be like plants thrown into the acar bars, which is kind of what my acar bars have looked like previously. I want to kind of get a little bit, I don't know, creative. When I first had an acar bar, I used like decorative moss and colors like that. I think I want to do that same thing, but instead I'm going to use like the foam on the back wall of the acar bar and like put the decorative moss on it so that I can like also go in and regularly like mist in there. Yeah, so we'll see. That's kind of the plan for this one. The next plant I have on my list is my intervariegated latifolia, or my Hoya latifolia pot of gold. So I thought that this plant was going to be a breeze for me because I have the outer variegated latifolia and it does so well. But this plant has not been a breeze. When I first got the plant, after I watered it the first time, it literally, them small pieces of perlite be getting your girl. But anywho, the first time I watered it, it rotted. And all I could save was, of a plant that was pretty established, all I could save was like a 2-leaf cutting. So I rooted that out. I got it into here, and I don't know, it has grown 1 leaf for me. It hasn't, post like me putting it into here, it hasn't rooted significantly into here, or maybe it kind of has, nothing crazy. I've only been able to grow this 1 leaf here, and I'm really not sure why. I don't know. It also, like, I can't figure out the watering. So sometimes when I go to water this plant after, and I water all of my plants on a similar time, especially the ones on the Hoya shelves, they typically need it at the same time. Sometimes it will be really wet, and then I'll be like, I'll come back in a few days. And then a few days later, it will literally, like, the color on it fades. It looks parched. Like, I'm not sure. Like, it operates really different than my other latifolia. Like, even right now, maybe I would say potentially it needs water, but it's literally wet. I don't know. Like, it doesn't hydrate properly. I don't know if it's just the specimen I have. It just doesn't it doesn't have like a strong will to live. You know what I'm saying? I think that I might put this in a different area. Right now, it's kind of like close to a window, so I might move it so it's not getting a cold draft. I'm considering putting it in that same acar bar, and maybe the humidity will help it to take off, because even still, it's grown this one leaf, but the vine also isn't like sprouting excess. Like, it's not growing. It's been stuck like this in time for months. So I don't know. The vine didn't die off, but it's also not doing anything. So I'm kind of at a loss. So I'm thinking maybe the acar bar might help it, getting more humidity, warmth, and then potentially like not a cold draft that might really help it to take off. Okay, next on this list also got in October with the trade, and this is my intervariegated heuschkeliana. I don't even think I didn't imagine that this was gonna need different care outside of maybe brighter light than the regular heuschkeliana that I have, but it is just not growing much. I think in the time that I have had this heuschkeliana, my regular green form had grown significantly. Like, it would have already been slightly coming out of the pot a bit. I wouldn't expect this to be a full bushy plant, but it is either really slow growing or it just hasn't grown much at all. I don't even see like a growth point on this piece over here. I see nothing. There is one that's activated down below. I see leaves that tried and like shriveled off. I'm not really sure what I can do outside of provide it with even brighter light. So I might move this one onto the shelves with the two T10s. I said T10s. They're T5s, the 10-watt T5s. I might put this on those shelves because those are getting a little bit brighter light than the ones getting with two 5-watt Barina bars. And maybe that will help it getting brighter light, because I know that like variegated plants typically tend to need a bit brighter light. So I'm gonna try that and see how that goes. If you have any advice for this plant, please do let me know, because in fact it kind of looks like some of these leaves are yellowing, and I'm really not sure what's going on with it. I'm really not sure. So please, anybody with an intervariegated heuschkeliana that is doing well, give me advice, give me tips. Do I need to let it dry more? Like, what do I need to do? Here is another one that I got in the summer. This is my Hoya vitellina. I got this in July of 2025. I was initially going to get rid of it when it was putting out this leaf and I didn't know what it looked like, but I really like what this leaf looks like right here. I love the black margin. It's a bit of me. It's really nice. My issue here is that it grows very slowly. So it did its thing when it came to rooting. It rooted very quickly, but it hasn't put out like a vine for me. So I've gotten this leaf, but I currently have no active vine that is going to put out another leaf. So I would love any advice. Right now, I have had it in a multitude of conditions. The conditions I have it in now are the brightest light conditions it's had. I also saw that it could be needing a warmer thing, so I thought maybe this would be the fourth contender for the acar bar, but I'm not fully sure. I really just want to see more of these leaves. I love that perfect black margin. I love it so bad. I just want more of it, and I don't know why it won't grow. There don't seem to be any pests in the roots at all. I can spray it and continue to like maybe try to treat it. By putting the acar bar, it'll definitely get treated for flat mites. So maybe I need to do that and that will help. But I can't be certain, you know? Everything I saw was just saying like warm location, high humidity. But I know people that don't grow them in high humidity, but maybe this is one of those plants that just needs a bit higher humidity to do well. Up next is one that's not a stranger to the channel, and that is my Hoya pandurata. I contemplated getting rid of this plant, but then I decided to keep it because it started blooming. It was in, what is it? It was budding up and it put out really pretty blooms. I don't know if, like, are these, okay, cool. So I'm like, why are these still on there? It was budding up and it then bloomed. It was very pretty bloom. I think it's gonna bloom again up here, which is pretty exciting. But yeah, so it put out these 3 bleached looking leaves. One of the bleached looking leaves did kind of start darkening up a little bit. I contemplate, like I thought about whether or not this is due to the lighting or the substrate, etc. I have no clue. So something I might consider is to take a cutting, cut this top, because like this gap here looks horrific. Might cut the gap, prop it, and then have one that stays in the current conditions that it's in, and then move the other cut one into like a denser mix, because when I was doing research on it, it was saying that it comes from like more wet areas. So I think that it needs to keep more moist, which kind of tracks because it's not like thin leaf, but it's not thick at all. And I'm thinking also to put it in a cooler spot. So I do have 2 acre bars, and the one that I'm not going to deck out could be the home for the cutting of it to grow. 70 degrees is like it's not hot, but it's not cold. I guess I could put it in there and then just see how it goes for now. Yeah, I'm thinking that. So it might need a little bit more light and cooler temps, and then definitely like a more dense substrate, similar to like my multifloras. It might need to just be consistently moist versus drying out often. But if y'all have experience with the pandurata, please do keep it in the comments, because I want to keep it because I like the blooms and it bloomed for me. But you know, I don't know, girl. I don't know. I just don't want it to be doing this. I want it to be doing these leaves. Like kind of like the one on the base. I would like it to continue giving me this versus giving me this. All right. And finally, I have my Hoya leonensis. So this one is interesting. Of all the plants that I got in October, this has rooted the least. Probably this in the deykeae. I have like no roots in here. It just hasn't taken off for me. I got it, like I said, in October. I'm wondering if I need to be keeping this one more consistently moist. I have no clue. Like, I wonder if it needs less light. I'm going to move this into my office and put it under the one light Barina and just see if, like, instead of 2 T5s, I'll have one on those shelves and see if that helps, because I feel like maybe the bright light is too much. Because as you can see, it got like its sun stressed rim and everything on both of them. It didn't have that when I first got it. So I'm wondering if just like decreasing the light a little bit, and then maybe like not letting it go completely dry might be helpful for this plant. But if y'all have experience with it, let me know, because I looked it up and it was a lot of like mixed reviews as well on this plant, which you find a lot of on the internet when you do research. A lot of this is definitely trial and error, you know? So with that being said, thank you all for sticking around while I talked about the Hoyas that I have that are not necessarily growing well. I am really looking forward to seeing how they grow. And I'm gonna be honest, if these Hoyas don't grow or make a difference, etc., aside from like the sarawak and the sulawesiana, is this sulawesiana? No, aside from the sarawak and the sulawesi, I'm pretty sure that if they don't grow or don't like turn into something nice, they will not be in my collection in 2027. So, you know, I hope that they lip sync for their life basically at this point. And with that being said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next video. Thank you so much for sticking with me. I cannot believe how much this channel has grown. I am very grateful for y'all that come by, stick with me, and keep watching. So, anywho, see y'all in the next one. Bye.